Hello students, today we will see the next chapter is network models. In last chapter we have discussed about the network hardware and softwares. A network is the combination of hardware and software that sends data from one location to another. And the hardware consists of physical equipment that carries signals from one point to the network to another point. The software consists of instruction sets that make possible the services that we expect from a network. To solve any task with the help of computer, we need the help of both hardware and software. And we use the concept of layers in our daily life. For example, consider communications between two friends throughout the post mail. Then these are the contents in the second chapters. Then to understand the network model, we consider the task involved in the sending letter to friend through the post. Here example, first sender the letter is written and put in envelope and drop in a mailbox. Then letter is carried from the mailbox to a post office. Then letter is delivered to a carrier by the post office. Then this parcel is carried from the source to destination and the letter is delivered from the carrier to the post office. Then the letter is carried from post office to the mailbox, and last the letter is picked up, removed from the envelope and read, and this is finally received. It having three layers. First is lower layer, then middle layer, then higher layers. The network models defines a set of network layer and how they interact. There are two most important network models. First is OSI network model and second is TCP/IP network model. The OSI network model is the International Standard Organization has defined a standard called the Open System Interconnections OSI Reference model, and this is 7-layer architectures listed in the model dominated data communications and network literatures. The OSI was never fully implemented. And then TCP/IP model, it is also called as the internet model because TCP/IP is the protocol used on internet, and the TCP/IP protocol should become dominant commercial architectures because it was used and tested extensively in the internet. Then first is OSI reference model. The OSI model was established in 1970 by the International Standard Organization ISO, which is a multinational body dedicated to the worldwide agreement on the international standard. The model is called as the ISO OSI Open System Interconnection Reference Model because it deals with connecting open systems, that is, systems that are open for communications with other systems. The purpose of OSI model is to show how to facilitate communications between different systems without requiring changes to logic of underlying hardware and software. The OSI model is not a protocol, it is a model for understanding and designing a network architecture that is flexible, robust means strong, and interoperable. The OSI model is layered framework for the designing of network system that allows communications between all types of computer system. The OSI model has 7 separate layers, but it is related layers, and the principle that we are applied to arrive at 7 layers are: a layer should be created where a different level of abstraction is needed. Then each layer should perform well-defined functions. Then third is the functions of each layer must support internationally standardized protocols, and the layer boundaries should be chosen to minimize the information flows across the interface, and the number of layers should be sufficient one. Then these are the 7 layers of OSI model. Then first is physical layer, then second is data link layer, third is network layer, fourth is transport layer, fifth is session layer, sixth is presentation layer, and seventh is application layer. Then this OSI model allows complete interoperability between incompatible system within a single machine. Each layer calls upon the service of layer just below. Then concept of the OSI model, it having the three technologies. One is peer-to-peer processes, second is interfaces between layers, and third is organization of the layers. Then first is interactions between OSI model layer. This is also called as the peer-to-peer processes, and the entities comprising the corresponding layers on the different computer machines are called as the peers. And within each machine, a layer calls upon the service of the layer below in the providing its own service to the layer above. At the physical layer, the communications is direct. Machine A send a stream of a bit to machine B. This is the machine A and this is the machine B. At the highest layer, however, communications must move down through the layers on machine A over to the machine B and the back up through the layers. Each layer is sending machine add its own information to the message it receives from the layer just above it and passes the whole package to the layer just below it. And this information is added in the form of header or trailer. Trailers, that means control the data appended to the beginning or end of data parcels. Headers are added to the message at layers 6, 5, 4, 3 and 2, and A trailers is added at layer 2. Then at the receiving machine, the message is unwrapped layer by the layer, which each process receiving and removing the data meant for it. For example, layer 2 removes the data meant for it, then passes rest to layer 3, and layer 3 removes the data meant for it and passes to the rest for layer 4, and so on. Then an exchange using OSI model, that means the interfaces between the layers, the passing of data and network information down through the layers of the sending machine and backup through the layers of receiving machine is made possible by interface between each pair of adjacent layers, and each interface defines what information and services a layer must provide for the above layer. Then well-defined interfaces and layer functions provide modularity to a network, and this is transmissions medium is importance between the two machines. Then organization of the layers. All the 7 layers are grouped into the 3 subgroups. Layer 1st, 2nd and 3rd are called as the network support layer, and it deals with physical aspect of moving data from any devices to another's. Then next topic is functions of each layers. In this sections we will discuss the functions of each layers in the OSI model. Then first is physical layer. The physical layer is the lowest layer and first layer of the OSI model. The physical layer coordinates the functions required to carry a bit stream over a physical medium. Physical layer deals with mechanical and electrical specification of interface and transmission medium. Physical layer also defines the procedure and functions that the physical devices and interfaces have to perform for a transmission to occur. Then it having the main responsibility, the physical layer is responsible for movement of individual bit from one node to next node. The physical layer also concerned with some functions. First is physical characteristics of interface and medium. The physical layer defines characteristics of interface between devices and the transmission medium, and it is also define the type of transmission medium. Then second is a representation of bit, that means data encoding. Below the physical layers there is a transmission medium which carries computer data, and any transmissions medium doesn't understand about computer data, that means 0 and 1. It understands only about the signals, and physical layers convert binary data into signals and vice versa. For this, different type of encoding methods are used by physical layers. Then third is data rate. Physical layers defines the transmission rate, that means number of bits sent in 1 second, and therefore it defines the duration of a bit. Then bit synchronization, the sender and receiver must use the same bit rate as well as must be synchronized at a bit level, and the sender and receiver clock must be synchronized. Then a line configuration, physical layer also defines the way in which devices are connected to the medium, and the two different line configurations are used: point to point configuration and multi point configuration. Then 6 is physical topology. The physical topology defines how devices are connected to form a network. Devices can be connected by using star topology, ring topology, mesh topology, hybrid topology, etc. Then transmission mode. Physical layer also defines the way in which data flows between two connected devices. The various transmission modes possible, like simplex, half duplex, and full duplex. These are the three transmissions mode, the various transmission mode, and it also select any of the one. Then second layer is data link layer. The second layer of OSI model is data link layer, and the data link layer is responsible for moving frame from one node, that means hop, to the next, and the data link layer transforms the physical layer, a raw transmission facility, to a reliable link that is error free and gives to the network layer. It often divided into the two parts. First is media access control and second is logical link control. Then first is media access control, that means MAC. The MAC sublayer controls the means by which multiple devices share the same media channel, and this includes contentions method and other media access details. The MAC layer also provides addressing information for communications between the network devices. Then second is the logical link control, LLC. The LLC sublayer establishes and maintains link between communicating devices. Then functions of data link layer. First is framing. The data link layer divides the stream of bits received from the network layer to manageable data unit is called as the frame. And the data link layer performs various framing functions like frame traffic control, frame sequencing, frame delimiting, and so on. Then second is physical addressing. The physical addressing have authority over the network only, and its frames are to be distributed to different systems on the network. Data link layer adds physical address to the frame to define sender or receiver, and if the receiver is outside the network, and the receiver address is the address of devices that connects the network to the next one. Then flow control. Flow control is the traffic regularity mechanism implemented by data link layer that prevents fast sender from drawing the slow receiver. Then error control, it provides the mechanism of error control in which it detects and retransmit damaged or lost frame. And data link layer also deals with problems of duplicate frames, thus providing reliability to the physical layers. Then media access management. Data link layer determines when the node has the right to use the physical medium. And last one is access control. When two or more devices are connected to the same link, data link layer protocols decide which device has control over the thing at the given time. And it means data link layer protocol decide which devices is going to use in the link at the what time. Then third layer is network layer. Network layer is the third layer of OSI model, and in the network layer, and the network layer is responsible for delivery of individual packet from the source host to the destination host. When source and destinations are from same network, there is usually no need for network layer, and delivery of packets handled by the data link layer. If source and destinations are from different network, network layer is responsible for delivery of data packets. It having some other functions. First is logical addressing. In order to identify each devices on the internetwork uniquely, and network layer defines logical addressing scheme which distinguishes each devices uniquely and universally on the internet. When source and destinations are from different network, to deliver the packets, logical addresses, that means IP addresses, are required. Then routing, to go from any source to any destinations on the internet, multiple paths are available. But out of these multiple paths, one path has to be selected, and the selection is depending on the certain criteria, and this criteria is called as the routing protocols, and the entire process is called as the routing. And the network layer protocols determines which route or path is best for the source and destinations. Then congestion control. This layer is also responsible for handling the congestion problems at the node, and when there are too many packets stored at the node to be forwarded to the next node. Then internetworking. One of the main responsibility of network layer is to provide internetworking, because it having different network, and it provides logical connection between different types of the network. Then fourth layer is a transport layer. This is the fourth layer of the OSI model, is the transport layer, and the transport layer is responsible for process to process delivery of the entire message, and a process is an application program running on host. The network layer is not able to recognize the relationship among the packet through the packets are from one message only, and it only performs source to destination delivery, and it treats each packet independently. The transport layer, on the other hand, ensures that whole message arrive intact and in order, overseeing both errors control and flow controls at the source to destinations, and it having some other functions. First is service point addressing, that means port addressing. The purpose of transport layer is to deliver a message from one process running on the source machine and another process running on destination machine. It may be possible that several programs or processes are running on both the machine at the time. In order to deliver the message to correct process, transport layer header includes a type of address called as the service point address or port address. Then segmentations and reassembly. The transport layer accepts a message from layer above it, and it split the message into smaller units if not already small enough, and passes the smaller units down to the network layer, and the transport layer at destination station reassemble the message. Then connection control. The transport layer can provide connections oriented or connectionless services. For connection control, a connectionless transport layer treats each segment as an independent packet and delivers it to the transport layer at the destination. A connection oriented transport layer make a connection which destination transport layer first and then deliver the data. After all data transfer it done, the connection is terminated. Then flow control. Data link layer, transport layer also performs flow control. Transport layer makes sure that the sender and receiver communicate at the rate they both can handle. Therefore, flow control prevents the source from sending data packets faster than the destinations can handle. The flow control performed by transport layer is end to end. Then error control. Link data link layer, like the data link layer, transport layer is also perform some error control messages. The error control is performed end to end rather than across the single link, and error correction is usually achieved through retransmission. Then these are the functions of transport layer. Then next layer is session layer. The fifth layer of the OSI model is the session layer, and the session layer has the primary responsibility of beginning, maintaining and ending the communications between two devices, which is called as a session. And it also provides orderly communications between devices by regulating the flow of data. And the session layer is the networking dialog controller. It establishes, maintains, and synchronizes the interactions among communicating systems. There are some other functions. First is dialog control, and second is synchronization. In dialog control, it is the functions of session layer that determines which devices will communicate first and the amount of data will be sent. It also decides the communications between two processes to take place in either half duplex or full duplex mode. Then synchronization. Session layer allows a process to add synchronization point or checkpoint to a stream of data. The session layer decides order in which data needs to be passed to the transport layer. And the sixth layer is presentation layer. The sixth layer of OSI model is presentation layer. The presentation layer is also called as the translation layer. The presentation layer presents the data into a uniform format and makes the difference data format between two dissimilar systems. The presentation layer is concerned with semantics of information transmitted between the two systems. The presentation layer is also responsible for translating then compressions and encryption. Then it having some other functions like translation, encryption, and compression. Then translation between sender and receiver message forms done by the representation layer if two formats are different. Then encryption, converting computer data into non-readable format is a encryption, and it is required for important data transmissions. A decryption reverses the original process to transfer the message back into its original format. Then third is compression. Data compression reduces the number of bits contained in the information. Then data compression becomes particularly important in the transmission of multimedia such as text, audio, and video. And the last layer of OSI model is application layer. The seventh layer of OSI model is application layer, and the application layer enables the users, human or software, to access the network. And it also provides user interfaces and support for services such as email, remote file access and transfer, shared database management, and other type of distributed information services. Application layer is also responsible for providing services to the users. And it having other applications. First is network virtual terminal. Network virtual terminal is a software version of physical terminal, and it allows a user to log onto a remote host, and the remote host believes it is communicating with one of the own terminal and allows to user to log on. Then second is file transfer access and management. This application allows a user to access file in a remote host and to retrieve files from a remote host for use in the local computer and to manage and controls files in remote computer locally. Then mail services. These applications provide email operations like forwarding and storage. Then directory services. This application provides distributed database sources and access for global information about various objects and services. Then summary of OSI layer. First is here applications layer. But in OSI model, application layer is the seventh layer and first layer is the physical layer. Here start from physical layers to transmit bit over a medium and to provide mechanical and electrical specification. Then second is data link layer to organize bit into frames and to provide hop to hop delivery. Then third is network to move packets from source to destination and to provide internetworking. Then transport layer to provide a reliable process to process message delivery and error recovery. Then session layer to establish, manage and terminate session. Then presentation layer to translate, encrypt and compress the data. And applications layer to allow access to a network resources. These are the summary of OSI layer.